All right. Peace and love, family. What's going on? It is your boy Mario Quinn, and we are here with yet another episode of the Level Up Podcast. This is episode 97. Yes, we are climbing the ladder to 100 very quickly. So I'm super excited for today and for tonight's episode. We have a very wonderful guest on the show. So please, tune in. Thank you to everybody who hops in on the live feed, live stream, and of course, everybody listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all those other cool places where you can listen to the Level Up Podcast. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce our very special guest. This is someone who I was able to meet through the community we've been able to build here at Level Up. Someone who's super talented, super down to earth, chill, just genuinely nice person. So I want to say thank you for joining me today. But without further ado, my boy, Barbados Black. How you feeling, brother?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being prompt and, ready to go and polite and whatnot. No. But anywho, man, I had an opportunity to meet you a while back. I feel like it had to be some years at this point, just because we've been around some of the same circles. And I've been very impressed with your career and just how you've been able to really get your brand out there. So for those who may not know you like I know you, can you just explain what it is that you do here in Pittsburgh?
Sure. What I do here in Pittsburgh is I do graphic design, I do cover art, I do logos, I do book covers, and as well as I do music. I do alternative R&B, pop, trap, a little bit of everything.
Okay, sweet. So talk a little bit about, how you got into doing the graphic design. I know that you're stylistically, you're more on the illustrator side of things. I think that's very niche, and I love what you've been able to do for a lot of my friends. I know who did that. I could tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But how did you get into it, man? What made you want to say, I really want to tackle this art thing?
I've always been into art ever since even elementary school. Like the very first kindergarten, I put something in for artwork, and they submitted it actually and took it to an art show. So they always said I had potential for art. So it's just something that I've always kind of just stuck with and always been interested in.
Right. Dope. I love you. He said this gonna be your easiest interview. I said why? He said I'm simple. He is thorough, y'all. So you started off young. I could thinking about myself. That's how I was. I was in kindergarten, and I remember I was in the kitchen at the house, and I was drawing Garfield on the cabinet, and it was like some nice white cabinets in my kitchen. And my mom was so mad, but she couldn't be mad because the drawing was so dope. Yeah. She was like, "Oh, he's dope. I'm gonna have to get him into this." But of course, I went to college and started to deal with adults and deal with people in a different manner. How did you kind of roll into servicing people in terms of having clients and stuff like that? Was it just like on accident, or how did that work?
It was on accident, on purpose. Like I went to college for art, and I wasn't necessarily liking it. I went to school for video game art and design because I like games so much.
Did you go to the Art Institute? Me too.
And my teachers hated me.
Yeah,
they hated me because they couldn't understand what type of art I wanted to do a lot of the time, and there was a lot of times I'm not understanding that. Like you said, I'm more an illustrator, so I can draw, but I prefer to color. That's my thing. So they just didn't understand that. So once I just sort of put an artwork out and kind of just organically on Instagram, people just started gravitating towards it.
That's so dope, man. And so, as you watched it, this thing unfold, what was going through your head when people were gravitating towards it? Were you like, damn, this is crazy? Or was it just like, oh, okay, whatever?
I think it's crazy, honestly, because I still don't think too much of it. It still surprises me when people ask me for artwork because I don't think anything of it. I just draw like breathing for me. So you want something like.
Right. He said, all right, thanks. That's dope, man. I think, like I said, I feel like you've really built your name, especially in that arena. A lot of people that I work with have used you as an artist, and I've just seen some of the dopest stuff. But talk a little bit. So yeah, music. You do music. You're dope as fuck. The one thing that I would personally say that I really appreciate about you is that you're so original in your sound. You know what I mean? I think that you don't try to sound like other singers. You don't try to hit notes that you can't hit. You're like, no, I'm gonna sing it the way I sing it, and it's a vibe, and either you fuck with it or you don't.
Exactly.
So talk about that transition. You're like, okay, I'm doing this art. I'm sure you probably were already into music, but how did you step into that? Okay, I'm serious about music.
I don't know. Just it's kind of weird how that happened. It's just like once the artwork took off, I always bundled them together. So on Instagram, it's like I always had celebrities liking stuff. I've always had people liking stuff. But in the city, like you said, it's getting different.
Right,
it never really caught on. So I think once the artwork kind of took off and I was kind of like packaging them together, people kind of understood like, okay, this is different. His art's different. But my one friend was like, your music kind of matches your artwork. So I think that's kind of where people kind of started to see the story of kind of who I was. I think kind of putting it together kind of helped out.
Right. No, I love the way you explain that. And I would agree with that. The artwork and the music does match. It's like like the music. I forgot how you described it. How did you describe your music? You said it's
alternative R&B.
Yeah, alternative R&B, and it has like some. It's got a lot of like electric, kind of components to it, and it's just like the artwork has that anime feel to it sometimes, and like it definitely matches. Man, it's a vibe for sure. Dope, man. The word of the day is vibrancy, because that's what I feel when I like listen to your music and when I look at your work. I'm like, it's so vibrant. That's it's like the colors is like boom, it's in your face. That's dope, man. So you've had a lot of success. I know of a lot of I've heard a few projects, and doing interviews with other people, songs and stuff that you're on. I'm like, oh, this is a dope ass song. I think I got like at least 3 of your jams on my Level Up playlist on Spotify. I got the one that you and Marley did together. I forget what it's called.
That's called Do You.
That song is hard.
No, thank you.
I love that one for sure. So, but talk about the projects. What you got out, what you're working on, stuff like that.
Okay, so I have a lot of stuff that's not even put out. Like you said, my music's very different. You were like the very first, like one of the very first people who let me even headline, because you were like, oh, I heard your music is different. So you gave me one of those spaces. So it's like I've been really trying to like craft that sound. I was watching like a lot of older videos on YouTube, like Missy and Timberland, and they kind of said something that kind of really resonated with me. They were saying like they used to be in the dungeon, just in the basement, and they wouldn't listen to like other artists. They wouldn't listen to other music. They would just force themselves to come up with original sounds, and that's kind of what I try to do with my team. I just try to focus like on what makes me the best me, and how to really put that out so you guys understand that.
Right.
So right now, I'm just like I said, I'm working on my project. It's called Turtle Island. I have a bunch of songs on there, but I'm not even sure how many I want to have on there. I don't want to do too many, but I don't want to have not enough.
Okay, so you know me. You know who my wife is. You know what I be into. So I heard something real specific that I want you to unpack for the people.
Okay.
So you said the project is called Turtle Island. Now, I am familiar with Turtle Island. I am familiar with the original Niji of this land. But what does that mean for you? Talk to the people.
Sure. Okay, so for me, Turtle Island is just nature. It's something that's just natural. It's untouched. Even in Avatar, when they showed that it was something spiritual, it's just something that I've always resonated with. Even when I studied it, they talked about the first people being on this land were like the Aboriginals. And a lot of that stuff tends to originate with me. Even when I get like a tarot card reading, they say that I tend to see this, do this like it's not necessarily mine. They said I see this like through my ancestors, and my guides are always here with me. And I kind of feel like I don't know, just a lot of things have always made me feel like I was kind of like geared towards something specific. So I feel like Turtle Island just kind of feels like me kind of letting you guys into the world that I've never really let people into before, to kind of show people maybe why I've been so quiet or what I've been hiding this time.
Right. It's interesting because a lot of how we identify, right? A lot of what makes us who we are is our notion of home, right? And what makes, that's what made us, like our where we grew up, the land that we reside in. And Turtle Island being one of the most original names of this land, it just feels like home, and if you get invited to Mikasa, you get to know who I am. And so that's so dope, man.
Thank you.
I like totally overanalyze that.
No, that's exactly how it is.
Excuse me. Dope, man. So in terms of Turtle Island, where are you with that project? You got a few songs done? Are you what's the turnaround looking like?
I have probably like 2,000 songs recorded, to be honest. I own my studio. That's like one of the first things I did. So it's like I'm just in the house recording, then I'm like, all right, let me let the boys hear this. Let me see what the streets is thinking. Right. Oh, y'all like this or y'all like this, and then I go back, scrap that, redo it. So it's like I want to be like halfway done so I can put it out in the fall, but every time I get inspired by something else, I want to change the sound.
Right. I mean, I respect that, and I think taking that time is okay. I think a lot of times, I mean, of course, you want to be consistent, right? You want to be persistent in terms of like making sure you are releasing content.
Exactly.
But I think enjoying the creative process, fine tuning what it is that you're doing is just as important.
Yes.
You know, it should go hand in hand. You shouldn't just put shit out just to put it out. Exactly. You know, because I got a lot of jams, man, that I really, really like that I know aren't done, that I know aren't. It's not there just yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, but I want to. I'll be like, no, my friends listen to it, and they're like, I like it, but and I'm like, okay, so the but part is what I don't like. So,
exactly.
That's dope, man. So cool. So you got some time to work on that. Hopefully the fall. I'm excited to hear, you know, what you got on the table in terms of like, you know, what the, you know, what you want people to get from that. Again, I know you said, you know, more of yourself and stuff like that, but what kind of sound or vibe or feeling are you hoping for folks to get from that?
Okay, so there's multiple things. The first thing is I wanted men to kind of feel like this is a place where they could come to kind of feel safe to emote. I feel like a lot of times when we go out, and even just when I listen to music itself, there's a lot of women, and it's a lot of times it can be, sometimes they'll say male bashing, but I feel like it can just a lot of times be more women powered. And I think we sometimes need to give a place for men to say, you know what, women broke my heart, you know what, or men, whoever. But you know, you got your heart broken. It's a place for us to feel safe. It's supposed to say, like, you know what, I'm tired today. I hate this or I hate that. I kind of want people to really just understand that we go through things too, and sometimes we are sensitive. And we ain't got to be always all hard on them.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna give you a couple slow snaps for that. No, I feel that, man. I'm a Pisces. I'm always sensitive.
Oh yeah.
I'm so sensitive. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody that commented on the joint. My man Dun Desperado, Million Couture, you know what I'm saying? Ghost's Money, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. But nah, I fucks with that, man. I think it's important to, especially Black men, for us to create spaces to be vulnerable. And I think it's really, we could do that easily through music. You know what I mean? Because you're not necessarily tied to it, right? It's more so an experience in that moment where it's like, okay, I'm listening to this music, I'm feeling it. It's like, don't judge me, y'all. Okay. It's like when I listen to my Backstreet Boys, you know what I'm saying? I just be there, you know, and it's like, you know, I just fucks with it. It gets me in that space. Sometimes I'll go on YouTube and just go through a whole pop bop playlist and just shit that I listened to in high school when I didn't know where the fuck I was. I'm like, am I a gangster? Am I in a boy band? Do I play basketball? I don't know what I want, you know, but I feel like that's when we were vulnerable until, you know, those people around us in our environment kind of made us feel like to be a Black man means to be tough, to not like things that are soft or colorful, or, you know what I mean? And that's not true. That takes a lot of our humanity away, you know what I mean? And so I respect you for that. Dope shit. Sick. So in terms of, you know, collaborations, I know you've done a lot of work with a lot of people. Who oh, we got hearts for that. Who you know, what you know, collaborations or projects and things like that have you been excited about? People you've worked with, have you been excited about? And are there anybody, this is a loaded question, I apologize. Is there anybody else that you're hoping to work with here in the future?
Well, first, I guess I'll answer the first part. I have a bunch of collabs that I haven't dropped yet. I have one with Shamar. I have one with Dre Dior. I'm working on something with,
homies.
I know, with Doughboy. So it's like I have a bunch of stuff like in the pocket that I'm waiting to release. It's like I haven't decided if I either want to put it on Turtle Island, but a part of me wants to do like a, not necessarily a versus like that, but almost like a me versus Pittsburgh type of thing. It's like I'll have a bunch of rappers, and I'm not necessarily a rapper, but I don't feel like I fit in with the singers either. So I want to present something to show them in a different element as well, to show what these rappers can really do. So that's the first part of that. And as far as people who I'd like to work with, honestly, I'm just always working for new people. I'm always happy for any collaboration, honestly, because that gives me a chance to do something different, gives me a chance to do something original. So I think that's always fun.
Dope. I love this guy. This is straightforward. He's like straight to the point, you know, anybody. But yeah, I would definitely be hitting you up for collab. I definitely want to do something with you. You know, because there's certain things that you can do with your voice that I can't do with my voice. And so because I sing too, but like, you know, I'm more of a like, I would describe myself as like a falsetto, or like, you know, I could do that well, but I'm like a mad layers kind of like poppy Drake-ish kind of harmonies and shit. Yeah. You do crazy harmonies. Your harmonies be out of this world. I'm like, yo, that sounded wild. And so she said, I'm here for that collaboration. We're gonna make it happen, yo. We're gonna make it happen for sure. Most definitely. All right, so hold on one second. I just want to see what is this serve? What is it serve? What do you mean? Why are you doing that? All right. I guess my phone computer doesn't want me to do what I'm trying to do. Yeah, that's shady. I'm trying to get
the iPhone.
Right. Damn Samsung. Push the goddamn button. All right. So in terms of talk about some of the goals you have. I normally like to ask people, what is your what do you see yourself in the next 5 years, or what do you hope for in the next 5 years? What would you say to that question there, sir?
How you cut that water off? Hey, dog, that shit is coming. That motherfucker flowing, dog. I want it coming out here.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm so dog. I told you anything can happen on the fucking podcast. Man, just let the shit. Man, go help Uck with the damn water, man. It's still going. It overflowed. Is it about to, or did it? Yeah, Uncle Mark had some problems with the bathroom. He like, man, is it overflowing, man? I told you it do that. It fill it all the way. You got scared. I'm so bad. We got family. Just to give you some context, we got a new urinal in one of our bathrooms because the flusher wasn't working. So the new one they got is one of these like super high powered water jet stream joints. So it shoots the water up so fast and so quick that it looked like it's about to overflow. But then right when it gets to the top, it stops. So Uncle Mark had a scare. He said, "Oh man, this shit running like a mother." I can't. I'm telling you, there's always somebody that interrupt the goddamn podcast. Anywho, family, thank you for tuning in again. This is episode 97 of the Level Up Podcast. Me, your boy Mario Quinn, my boy Barbados Black, in the building. But we were talking about his 5-year plan or goals and things like that. Long term, I guess that's short term. Would that be? Well,
I don't know.
5 years. I feel like 5 years is pretty long term.
I would say
I feel like a year is short term.
Yeah,
5 years is long term. Yeah. So yeah, what's those 5-year goals, man?
Honestly, initially when I was just working on the artwork by itself, my first goal was just to try to be a director of a studio. That was something I initially wanted to do before I started to pursue my own thing. So now I think I just want to continue to just try to like figure out how to just continue to do more artwork, more covers. Like I actually ended up doing some like a marquee for a restaurant out in Barbados actually.
Oh shit.
So I've actually started to try to expand internationally a little bit. So it's like I want to continue to put artwork forward, but then now that I'm finally starting to do music a little bit and that's starting to work out, I also want to get as far as I can with that as well. Right. I'm just figuring out how to keep juggling those. I just want to keep taking those as far as I can. There's nowhere necessarily specific because I feel like being an entrepreneur, you're kind of already where you're at. Right. It's just always trying to maintain and just grow bigger. And I think that's the main thing I want to do is just expand my outreach and expand my name with
right. I love that, man. And that should be it. It's like there shouldn't be, any drastic change. I think a lot of times when I was just listening to these motivational little drink. I do that for my own health. Yeah. Is I listen to motivational speeches. But in this speech, it was talking about how people, they want to wait for this one thing to be perfect in order for them to change whatever it is that they need to change. But I think it's like realizing that where you are now is where you're supposed to be. And as long as you are taking steps towards just get, like you say, staying busy, staying active, keep doing work, expand a little bit internationally, work with a couple other people, just staying on course. The next thing you know, you're like, shit, I'm that person I wanted to be. I swear. I mean, I feel like a lot of successful people, if you ask them, they'll say that. They're like, man, I just stayed the course. I had a couple mentors. You know what I mean? Like I shrunk my circle, but I didn't cut people off. A lot of people think, I got to cut everybody off. And it's like, no, man, if you grew up with that person, you grew up with that person. Maybe they don't see eye to eye in terms of your dreams, but that doesn't mean you have to have them around all the time. Exactly. I have friends like that where I'll hit them up, once a month, every other month. Like, we still cool, but I don't need you in my creative circle. Exactly. Because I know that you don't have the mindset and the drive that I have, so that will drag me down. But I think, again, going back to that point of like, people wanting things to be a certain way in order to take action. Yeah. I think the way that you're approaching it is dope. It's like, that's the dopest way to approach a 5-year plan. Yeah. It's like, I just want to continue to get better, continue to do what I'm doing, and slowly get better. Exactly. That's the fucking formula, guys. It's not that hard. That is a fucking formula. That's dope, man. Kudos. A couple slow snaps. But in terms of like, I want to ask, it's going to be another loaded one. So the first one will be, what inspires you, or what or who inspires you. And the second one will be, what experience have you had recently or even in the past in terms of your art, your artistry and your music that you were like most proud of?
I think I'm mostly inspired by the failures and the negativity, honestly, because like I said, I knew this would be an uphill battle from the beginning. Like I said, even in art school, I told you my teachers even couldn't stand me. They were like, "Well, who's your favorite artist?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm my favorite artist." And they're like, "What? You don't like the greats?" And like, you know, so it's like no. So it's like I feel like honestly, just having like that negativity. People telling me I can't do something and trying to show people like, no, we can do something and we can do something different. We can work together. We can be positive. Because I see a lot of people saying that, like, oh, Pittsburgh's a terrible place. But I feel like at one point I kind of thought that, but actually Bilal Abbey, one of the people actually
that's my homie. I
know. He's one of the first people who actually let me do graphics for him. So way back. But he had told me like if you start showing your face, you know, people might actually give you a chance. So I was like, all right, I don't know about all that. But you know, I just kept hitting the wall. So I said, you know what, he keep telling you the same thing, you know, get your ass out there and go talk to people. And once I did that, I found out like he was kind of right. So I think just trying to push positivity where there is negativity, that's what inspires me. Trying to bring everybody together. Like when I put my shows up, I don't just show myself and you see that. I show everybody. We should all get some love. We should all make it. Because if I can help you make it, then we all can make it. You know what I mean? And what was the second part of it?
Sorry, that was so beautiful. I love that, man. I love doing this podcast because you learn so much about people. It's interesting. The second question was, what experience have you had that either currently or in the past that you're most proud of in terms of, your artistry?
Well, I'll say there's probably like 2 or 3. Like I said, with the failure and rejection, I always look at each performance where I get to go somewhere where somebody actually turned me down or told me that I was terrible. I look at that as a new test from the universe. Like, okay, you're giving me a second chance to redeem myself. Like, I don't need your approval. I'm not worried about that. I already approved myself. You know what I mean? That's why I'm here. But I just want to give myself that chance to really show you what I was trying to do the first time. And maybe I just wasn't there to present it right the first time. But there's another opportunity for me to give you that. So I would say probably actually I Level Up. I don't know which time it was. It wasn't last time, but it was the time Jeff Hobbs was here. And I got to perform, and he had saw me. And then shortly after we were talking about the show, when I got to do something for Pittsburgh Hip Hop Downtown, he was telling me like, "Oh, you got way better." Because before I had auditioned for Pittsburgh Hip Hop, and he had turned me down. He was like, "Man, they don't want me a pitchy singer." I'm like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yes." I'm like, "All right." So kind of like I said, redeeming myself and doing stuff like that. That's what inspires me. That lets me know like I'm on the right track. Because if I was a failure a year ago, but now you're telling me, "Hey, come on, get on the show a year ago," I must be doing something right.
Yep. I can attest to that because it's like I remember meeting you. I probably met you before this, but it was it was at Jesse's. She was having a fundraiser for her cousin who was in an accident or something like that. Remember we had the little stage, and I remember you were singing, and I remember coming up to you and being like, "Yo, you were dope, but I think you should just like keep working on blah 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 blah." I forget exactly what I said, but like literally. Because I get the pitchy thing because it's different. Again, you're not singing from a classical standpoint, right? You're not you, and I know that was never your intention. I could tell by like how the music matched your voice. I was like, okay, he's not trying to sing from a classical perspective. This is something different. But I think that within those little critiques that you've gotten from people in the repetition that you've gotten, like you've actually. Yeah, you've gotten better, but you found like the right notes, the right keys with the right music over time. And I think that's just practice, you know, practicing your breath control, you know, just singing, you know, just out loud, randomly, just singing, practicing singing, you know, helps with that. But I would 100% say the first time I saw you perform to, what was the last Drake? The last Apex was Anime Party.
The Anime Party.
The Anime Party, because I remember you dancing, and there was a whole vibe. Like, yo, he's killing it right now. At the age of 17 or whatever it was on. But yeah, I'm just thinking back to that performance. It's like a huge like just increase in like everything. And I think I was talking to you about confidence. I was like, you just need to be a little more confident. I think that's what it was because you were just like you were doing your thing, but you were just like, But I feel like that's because you're a chill person.
Yeah,
so it's looked at as like you're shy.
Exactly.
But you're like, nah, I'm just fucking chilling, dog. I'm like, I got shit to say to y'all. I'm here to do my music and bounce spots. But you know, I think you have found that bag, so to speak, like where you're like we dancing and shit now, you know, bringing more energy. So super dope, man. Super dope. I've never clapped for anyone on the podcast, so I'm gonna go ahead and clap. Sick. All right, so I'm gonna get into my fun question.
Sure.
Because we're moving right along, and I don't know where any of my team is, because they should be here checking to make sure shit's going right. Because I want to make sure that computer back there is plugged in and everything's still recording. But you know what? I'll text him because I can do that. Text works. But my fun question: what would you say? Oh, okay. Wifey texts me to ask you a specific question.
Oh, yeah.
So before I get to my fun question, I'm gonna ask you this first. Okay, she said, she wants to know about a upcoming audition for Whammo.
Oh,
can you talk about that?
Sure. So I happened to be on the internet like normal, and I had saw some auditions for Trippie Redd last week. So I was like, oh, the universe is trying to throw me a bone, so let me go and audition for something. Right. So I had just like, oh, when is it? So that's today. So I was like, all right, well, I think there's an opportunity to go and present some new music today. And like I said, with always getting better, I think actually today's audition went well. I felt actually much more confident, much more certain of myself. It just made me feel like I'm not necessarily, like I said, worried about getting it. That's never my thing. It's always more so just about presenting the best me that I can. Just so I say I can take an opportunity to try something. I don't care about getting anything. I just want to present something. Right. That's the main thing for me.
I mean, that's so dope. I think what I'm hearing is like it's not about, you know, getting everything at once or winning this thing or whatever, but it's about putting yourself out there.
Exactly.
And that because you never know what can happen from there. Like if you don't do shit, you ain't gonna get shit. But even if you don't get it, it's like at least you were there. And like let's say you run into those people again, they're like, bro, I remember you. You were the guy. You sang the song. I have an opportunity actually. Yep. Boom. There you go. And it's like, oh, now I'm on PET. Talk about. That's dope, man. So how did it was just something on the internet that you stumbled upon?
Yeah, literally. Like I just happened to see the thing. It just popped up. I was like, there's like no likes on this. Like where's everybody at? So I just signed up for it. And then I got the email on Sunday. So it was like yesterday. And then I was like, oh, so I really got it. And then I went and auditioned today. And I was like, yes, thank you guys. And it was great.
That's dope. So now in terms of feedback, did they give you any feedback or say anything about your audition performance?
No, they didn't look at me like normal. Like usually if they hate the music, and that's kind of what I learned, they'll just look at me like,
right.
I've kind of learned what that means, but they were kind of dancing along like they wanted. You can't do too much, but they were dancing along. They were saying they liked it and stuff. So it was like at least took that as at least the song was good. That's the main thing. Like, oh, you like the music? Okay, cool. That's cool. Right. Some new people like it, so that's the main thing.
Right. That's dope, man. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Are you going to hear about it later on, or do they tell you today?
They said that they'll give us a call back. So you never know with anything. So I'm not holding my breath.
Well, again, congratulations and good luck. I hope that you get that opportunity.
Thank you.
I feel like that's well deserved. And again, in appreciation of your mindset, I feel like someone like you should get that opportunity because of how you approach it. I think it's dope. Cool. So, my funny question. So, what would you say is your number one no-no in the world?
There's like so many. Number one, I would probably say making me mad.
Okay. Can you explain?
Don't do anything that will upset the balance of me trying to be positive.
He said, don't do anything to disrupt the balance of me trying to be positive. I love that. That's the quote of the day, y'all. You better not disrupt shit. I swear to God. I'm trying to be positive, and you fucking give me all this negativity. No, I love that. I mean, I think like, positivity in today's world is all we got sometimes.
Yes.
Because it especially being Black in America, it's hard. It's very hard. It's depressing at times, and it's like, our energy is the only thing we can protect, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to protect it. And if you ain't trying to help me do that, bye. Yep. I feel you.
100%.
Fuck that. Don't you ever interrupt his energy, y'all. Okay, you better leave that boy's energy alone. Okay, his positive vibes is for him and you, but if you know what I'm saying. Anywho, I love that. That's dope. That is so funny. All right, so all right, I'm gonna do a this or that question. Okay, I'm not gonna do a corny one. Let me see. I'm gonna try not to do a corny one.
Okay.
Okay. Tour with Beyonce. In America only, not international. American tour. in the U.S. With Beyonce, or 20% of Tesla.
I'm gonna still pick the tour with Beyonce.
Okay, why?
We're both Virgos.
Okay, Virgo energy.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, I know so many Virgos. It's crazy. That's wild. I could tell you, that's crazy. Virgos are mad chill until you piss them off, yo.
Didn't I tell you?
Virgos are the chillest people in the world until you piss them off.
That's right.
Oh, that is fucking hilarious. Okay, Beyonce. I fucks with that because that's an experience. I'm like, now, mind you, 20% of Tesla is a shit ton of money. But
I'm not motivated by money. Like money doesn't mean anything to me. Like I would tell people, like even charging for artwork, it's like sometimes I'll just do stuff for free, and it's like, well, they're like, well, why would you? I'm like, I tell you guys, I don't create for money. I don't sing for money. I do it because that's what feeds my spirit. That's what I want to do. That's what I like to do.
Right.
So the commerce part of it is just whatever.
I mean, it's extra.
Yeah, it's just extra. I just want to live to create. So you just want me to create. That's enough for me.
Right.
That's enough for me.
That's dope. That's dope. So do you do? All right. Random question. Like, do you do other work? I mean, I know like we all, we got bills to pay, things like that. Do you have other work or other areas of interest in terms of like in a professional means?
Oh, I've done everything as far as professional. My mom always told me to have a plan B, so I couldn't just be out here trying to be an artist.
Right. So
I've worked with Google. I've been an engineer's assistant. I've worked in like the mortgage industry. I've done a little bit of everything.
Oh shit.
Professionally before I started professionally fully doing artwork, but it's just like I said, I primarily moved over to doing artwork full time, so that way I can just do everything I need to do because I already went to school for it. So I was like, why not just do that full time? It can pay the bills, so why not just do that?
Right. That's dope. See, like. I feel like I'm not there just yet where the art and my art has put me in a position to pay my bills fully. It's close. We're getting there. But like that's dope that you're there. How did that take you a long time, or has it just been?
You watched it happen. Everybody kind of watched it happen.
Right.
Like I said, I'm always appreciative, and I can never thank everybody enough for just sharing the artwork, liking the artwork, just honestly just being genuine supporters, because that's where it all comes from. It's like I don't even usually have a chance to post the artwork because I'm not sure if I'm allowed or what, but a lot of it's just word of mouth, and a lot of times people say like, "Oh, I've seen the one thing you did, or I've seen that you did way back," and so it's like I'm always working behind the scenes. So even if I'm at every show, everybody's like, "Well, how did you leave after your performance?" It's like, "Well, I tried not to, but I have to go back home and draw still." So it's like, you know what I mean? So I have to slide out. But it's like I'm definitely appreciative of it because it came out of nowhere. Just like I just appreciate the support because nobody has to like what I'm doing. Nobody has to want it, but they do. So I always appreciate that.
That's dope, man. Slow snaps. And I think too is like that's a big risk. A lot of people don't understand that like being an artist, especially doing art full time and fully committing to it is a huge risk. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you have people who depend on you, right? And for me, that's where it's the hardest. Like, I feel like if I was single with no kids, like I'd be like, fuck it, let's do it. Exactly. Right now it's like, damn, nah, I need diapers. Okay, we need food on the table. Okay, the water bill is $100 not that damn dollars. You know what I mean? God damn, we got to pay for water. But I respect those who have been able to take that step in terms of like doing their artistry full time. And I know I'm on my way. But the beautiful thing about me that I appreciate is just like the job that I do have, my 9 to 5 is directly related to the work that I do here. Okay. So it's like, yes. And they know about, my boss already knew who I was. And, it's like, it is like, I do work around art. Exactly. It's like, it's dope. Man, I'm many blessings for that, but I can't wait though, because my ultimate goal is just, I want to be 100% artist, creative entrepreneur, like 100%, especially once the apex and all that gets rolling, and stuff like that, hopefully soon. But anywho, so he says coming. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Folks, if you do have a question, feel free to ask a question in the comments. If we don't get to your question today, we won't answer them tomorrow. I promise. Like, no, I'm lying. But yeah, go ahead, ask your questions, interact, especially on Facebook. We will respond back to you and everything like that. Again, this is episode 97 of the Level Up podcast. I have a wonderful studio audience of my man, Uncle Mark, chilling on the couch. Anywho, Barbados Black in the building. So Barbados, winding down to a few of my last questions. Don't I ask that one yet? Yeah, I do, because I already asked you the 5-year plan. All right, so you know what Level Up does. A lot of people know us for our events and like being that platform, which is like really important for us. Like, it's like you were a young artist. Not to say that we propelled your career or anything, but like this was a stepping stone in a way. And in terms of what we do educationally, you know, for young Black kids and kids of color, and of course, you know, other races as well, but just young people in general, it's like we aspire to inspire through creative arts, right? And through opportunities through creative arts. And so on this podcast, you know, I bring people like yourself on because you guys are exemplar of what it is that we want for our young people and what we, you know, what we do as artists. And so if there was a young person, you know, watching, listening, that's like, man, I'm inspired by your story, Barbados, you know, and I want to get started, but I just don't know, what advice would you give to that young person?
It's okay to be smart and it's okay to be different. That's the first thing. A lot of people don't know, like as a kid, I was studying Egyptian hieroglyphics. I was studying like different storms. I studied all types of tornadoes. I was always interested in all types of different things that made me very eclectic at a very early age, and it made me smart, but it made me different from my counterparts. But with that being said, I never turned away from it. Like even to this day, I'm still studying the same stuff. I think it adds to who you are as a person. So never turn away from the things that make you you, and never stop trying to be smart and be educated, because that's the first thing. Language is the most important thing. And if you don't understand language, then you're not going to understand any of your paperwork. So it won't even matter about what you're trying to do creatively.
You won't even understand. Oh, man. Hold on. I got to interject on that. Contracts, yo, the way that they write that shit, they're like thereafter that they're on to and all them shits, those mean something. It don't mean the word it look like it means.
Exactly.
Like that knowledge is power. Language, especially the English language. It was purposely created in the way that it is created in order to keep us from knowing how to operate in this society.
Thank you.
And that's the truth. And that's the truth. Even the Constitution, every single word, and law, Black Law's Dictionary. Get that. That's a good place to start, so you can learn these things. Thank you for saying that, because not a lot of people have enough gumption to say that shit, and I think it's important for our people to know what's going on in this world.
I was raised. They said if you're gonna be a Black man, you gotta be a smart Black man. Your job to be the smartest man in every room as a Black man. So you can't play around. It ain't just about the money. It's about being educated as well. And the second thing, like I said, is just always be yourself. Like I said, I knew it would be an uphill battle. I knew people would look at me like I was different, but I said I'd rather take the chance on being myself, because I just, my whole life, I've just never been that good at conforming. I've always just been good at being me, and I never gave into peer pressure. I never gave into be like them, because if they don't like me, they don't like me, and I like me. You know what I mean? I like me enough for the world. So if you don't like me, I'm all right. I'll be my own best friend first. So I don't care. So when I go home, I got to look at myself. So do what makes you happy. Do what's going to feed your spirit first. It's not about money. Do what feeds your soul. So that way, when you look at yourself, you don't got to be unhappy. When you're old, you don't have any regrets. I don't have any regrets every day I wake up. So that's why I can wake up and be positive, because I do what I'm meant to do and do what I want to do.
Right. I love it. Couple slow snaps. I think that's really, really, really important. Like being yourself, authenticity. It's key, man, because like I grew up, so I was prone to peer pressure. I was very impressionable because I was the little guy. I was this, I was, so like I was like not trying to get punked on, not trying to get, bullied or beat up. And so like they'd be like, yo, Ease, that was my nickname, Ease, yo, do that, yo, go IWD, go smack cuz. I'm like, boop, got beat up, got kicked out of school, all types of stupid shit that I got in trouble for. And once I realized, I actually had this thought a couple of weeks ago. I was like, dude, all the guys that were my dudes in high school, I'm talking about not my homies from back home, who, I became homies with after high school. Those guys are still my homies. But the guys that I went to school with and hung out with during high school, I realized, not to say I'm not cool with them, I have no problem with them, but it's like those were the people that every fight, everything that I got in trouble for the most part was because of something that they influenced.
It was them.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, that fucking sucks to think about. But it's like the people you surround yourself. I was trying to be cool. I was trying to, but I also appreciate that group, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be rapping. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be a rapper, because they were the ones that introduced me, because I grew up listening to gospel. I didn't really listen to hip hop all like that, until high school. You know what I mean? And then they were like, yo, you don't know this? You don't know Dipset? You don't know? You haven't heard Reasonable Doubt? You don't know none of this? I'm like, no, my mom, we're super Southern Baptist. Sorry. She was like none of that stuff. But, I was sneaking off and listening to that shit. You know, they introduced me to Wayne, all that, and just like freestyling, the art of freestyling, and like that. I appreciate that part. But no, I feel you. I think like once I decided to let go of Ease, because Ease was the nickname, right? And I was like, no, I'm Mario, because I used to hate my name. I hated Mario and I hated Quinn so much that I wanted to be called everything else. You know what I'm saying? And one day I was like, no, I like my name. My mom gave me that name. You know what I mean? I watched something that was talking about, you know, when your parents give you a name that means something. You know, don't ever be ashamed of that. Exactly. You know what I mean? And stuff like it was something about last names too, you know, slave names, and it tied in. But luckily, my last name is not a slave name. Thank you. You drop something up right there. But anyway, no, I think again to tie it up. Sorry, I'm blabbering, but you know, once I you know decided like, yo, I love who I am. I love my name. I love that, you know, I like pop music. I love that I like to dance. I don't care if you think that it makes me soft that I'm a dancer. Like whatever. I like to sing too. Yup. You know what I'm saying? And I like to color paint. Why not? It's a color. Exactly. God damn it. It's a pretty color. What you mean? Who don't like pink flowers? That's a lie. That's a lie. You know, talking about. Anywho. All right, man. But before we get off, again, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm really, like I said, super inspired by you, man. And it's always good to just get to know people a little bit more. I think, you know, we see each other a lot in passing. We never got to hang out ever. You know, it's funny because I finally got to hang out with Dre Dior. And now we're like best buds. Now, not on no calling type shit, but every time we see each other, he's like, what's up, man? You know, because he got to see me at my worst. Doing my worst behavior at one of Jesse's or no, it was here after Jesse's at her after party. And I was zooted and I was acting a fool, and he was like, man, you funny as hell, bro. I was like, yo, you funny as hell, bro. So you know, love it. Hopefully we could have, you know, one of those days where we could chill. But before we get off, if there's anybody who would like to work with you, listen to your music, collab, whatever it may be, let them know how they can get a hold of you on social media.
Sure, you can find me on all streaming platforms, Barbados Black, my newest single, Zoning. You can find me on Instagram, that's the easiest place, Barbados_6 Black, Facebook, Barbados Black. You can't have my phone number. And my email is barbadosblackmusic@gmail.com.
Sweet. Family, you heard it here on the Level Up Podcast. And of course, you can reach out to your boy Mario Quinn, MarioQuinn.com, and at The Mind of Quinn on all social media platforms. Also, please support Level Up. We are working on expanding to a larger space, 6,000 square feet. It is going to be known as the Level Up Apex. That's 2 dance studios and a full combat gym for MMA and boxing and other things. So you can support us. Just go to leveluppgh.com/ApexPGH so you can see all about that campaign and ways that you can support us and help us bring that to life. And of course, follow us on social media at Level Up PGH on everything. And want to just one more time say thank you. We love you. We appreciate everybody who's tuned in, who's tapped in to what we're doing here in Pittsburgh art scene. Super grateful for you guys. And it's your boy Mario Quinn, boy Barbados Black. This has been episode 97 of the Level Up Podcast. We up. Peace.